our 5 top news stories for this week is Atlas. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with this game, all right, we got a little bit of backtracking to do. So Atlas is a game that just recently came out. It's not that old, and it's from the makers of Ark Survival. And Ark Survival is pretty much just like a survival game where you're put on an island and there's all types of crazy stuff that want to kill you. And Atlas was their second attempt or second venture. Was supposed to be this massive scale pirate ship game or whatever. I don't know too much about what it's trying to do, because what it actually tried to do didn't work out too well. The launch was a complete disaster. It was like being delayed, like as it was supposed, like on launch day the game was like being delayed by like hours and hours. Oh, it'll be up tomorrow. Oh, it'll be up the next day, until it finally launched. And there was like tons and tons of issues with the game, and then people actually found out that not only is this game just a straight up asset flip, but Atlas is essentially Ark Survival just in the water. It's the same game, and certain command inputs would actually bring up the menu from Ark inside of Atlas. It was a freaking mess, man. A freaking mess.
So it was built as a combination of EVE Online and Ark Survival as pirates. And something weird happened over the weekend.
Very
past week, because apparently the admin account was hacked. Atlas admin account was hacked, and people started seeing airplanes in the pirate game,
amongst other things,
and whales, and it's odd. I mean, there's a video and it's playing now of the guy playing the game, and just an airplane just dive bomb, missed the ship with a dive bomb. It's like, what the heck? It's crazy. And he's like,
in the middle of an ocean, a freaking dive bomber plane just crashes into the ocean. It is
trying to hit a ship. I'm assuming they were trying to hit a ship.
I don't know what was happening,
but it's been a mess. It's been taken offline. They put it back up, and I think it went back down again a second time. But yeah, they're just having troubles with that game, and it's the same thing when Ark Survival. The studio is called Studio Wildcard. When they first released Ark, it was a mess. It was an early release for like 3 or 4 years before they.
Yeah, I think they just recently released it as a full title.
Right, just recently, and on top of that, it's on the Game Pass. Imagine that.
Yeah.
But
yikes.
Anyway,
large yikes.
So yeah, this game, this is a flub of all flubs, because they got their admin account hacked. So you got access to the admin. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can delete accounts. You can add assets. You can change menu. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's nuts that got out. I don't know how it got out. I don't know what they used, a bad password. Somebody, they just don't have their systems protected. But it's something that should never happen.
Yeah, and my question is, where did these assets even come from? Because as far as I know, there's no like tanks or airplanes in Atlas, or supposed to be in Atlas or Ark Survival.
Well, it could have been just built in like default assets in the engine they're using, right?
Yeah.
So whatever engine they're using, it could have just been default assets that were there, and these hackers got a hold of them. It was like, hey, let's just throw them in the pirate game.
Yeah. There's another video, and I didn't want to bring up too many videos of other people's gameplay, but there was one that we saw where massive hordes of whales were just being spawned into the ocean, to the point where you couldn't even sail your ship. And then of course, like we mentioned, there was a tank that was spawned onto an island.
Yeah, driving on the walls.
Driving on walls.
On the side of mountains, yeah.
Pretty ridiculous stuff, man. Pretty ridiculous if you ask me. So yeah, like what like how did they let this happen? How does your admin account get hacked? And like, I don't know, man. They just need to do better. We got to do better, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's bad enough that the game, like you said, was marred and all kinds of horse crap. For something like this to happen is absurd in my opinion.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next story, and lo and behold, Fallout 76 is back in the news. These guys cannot catch a break. I mean, there has just been story after story pretty much consistently every single week since this game came out.
And none of them are good.
There hasn't been any stories like, oh, Fallout 76 is like smashing records. Oh, Fallout 76, has like all these cool like hidden Easter eggs. It's like, no, Fallout 76 is fucked up. They done fucked it up. Everything's bad. You wasted your money. You wasted your time. No, but I don't know. It just has not been a smooth ride for Bethesda when it comes to Fallout 76. This was their entry title into the games as a service business model, which everybody seems so eager to hop on, and Bethesda may have been a little bit too eager, to say the least. Because I think the last thing what was the last thing we even talked about? Was it the bag? I think it was something after the bag. I've totally shut out Fallout 76.
I think there was like a ban. Wasn't there like a ban wave, a bunch of people getting kicked out of the game for something? We talked about the toxic community, right?
The community. The lynch raids.
That
lynch mobs. Freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have another issue within Fallout 76 because players have now gained access via hacking to the developer room, which is a place, a locale within Fallout 76, which, in all honesty, it should have been removed. They should have removed it from the game.
That was my first one. Why is that in a production environment? That needs to be in a lower environment. It should be like in a perf environment. A test environment, you keep it in there, you test it, and you release the items from that environment into the game. So again, that's laziness on
laziness on their part.
Bethesda's part. And the only reason they can have it there is for quickness. I guess it'll propagate faster through the production servers than it would from the perf servers. Maybe they might not have test servers, who knows? But anyway, they have this developers room which people were able to access. Now, the problem is to access it is not a simple, we found a spot, let's glitch through a wall to get it. To access it, you actually have to do a legitimate hack.
Right.
You have to fiddle with the code and hack into the room. And in the room is a bunch of unreleased items, including like versions of power armor that people can't get.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially everything that's in the game or that can be populated in the game is available in this room. Built assets for crafting, weapons, like you mentioned, power armor. And one of the more interesting things is that there is an NPC.
Yeah,
there's an NPC.
Wooby.
Yeah, Wooby's in the game. Now, a lot of people were looking at this as like, oh my god, they have NPCs and they just didn't want to put them in the game. I think this guy was just like a test dummy or something like that. Maybe somebody like a test character for testing out weapons and blah blah.
Damage input output. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't think that meant that this game was supposed to have NPCs. That was a thought process that a lot of people had. But everything else is just like, come on, bro.
Yeah. And so to add to this story, Bethesda has been suspending players. I think that we talked about this before the show. Yeah. And I'll let you go into the more detail. They've been suspending players for 3 days and banning players. How is that working out here?
Okay, so what they do is that if they detect that an account has accessed the developer room, they'll send you a notification or an email to whatever account is attached to it, basically stating that they have detected that an account has accessed the developer room and has been suspended because of that. Now, if you cooperate with Bethesda. And I'm guessing this is essentially just like getting rid of all of the things that you took out of there somehow. If you cooperate, you keep your account. If you don't cooperate, or if they don't hear anything back from you within the 3-hour time frame, the account will be deleted. Now, something that a lot of people were doing was that they would go into the dev room on a dummy account, but then transfer the items over. Hello, Sonny. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chiming in. They would transfer those items to their main account. Because you can actually trade items between accounts on Fallout 76 apparently.
Right.
So yeah.
My question is, do these people really think that Bethesda can't track that?
I mean, I would find it. I'm pretty sure that they can. I would find it very. I find it very hard to believe that they wouldn't be able to attract or track, massive hordes of items being transferred between accounts.
But on top of that, when you're using the item that's not in game yet on your account, if they don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're smart guys. Smart guys, go for it. But yeah, I don't know. It's 2 point thing. One, Bethesda is poor job of Bethesda to have that in a active production server. Right. And secondly, cheaters. You cheat, you get kicked. That's your fault.
Yeah, so my thing isn't I don't care so much about the people getting banned. My thing is that this should have never happened if Bethesda was a competent studio. Right.
I think they cut a lot of corners. I mean, this whole game is a cut corner, right? Because it's just Fallout 4 without the NPCs, essentially.
Yeah. And what's super funny? There was a Skyrim mod released not too long ago that enables co-op. Mm-hmm. Well, not that I've known. I haven't heard anything else about it, but I mean, it's basically co-op, and it works better than Fallout 76. Because all the NPCs and everything is still intact.
Yeah, imagine that. Somebody developed a Bethesda game better than Bethesda.
Man, these Skyrim, or I should say Elder Scrolls and Fallout communities have been making better games than Bethesda for years. This is nothing new. They've been making better games than Bethesda for quite some time. But yeah, this is just another story that just adds to the dumpster fire that is Fallout 76. And I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time we talk about these guys, and especially this game. I don't know what it's going to take. We haven't heard much from Bethesda in terms of like apologizing or like or even just acknowledging that this game is just a utter like fuck up. This game is a fuck up. And we haven't heard anything, and I don't know what it's gonna take for Bethesda to get back on good graces with a lot of people.
It's gonna take a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I do not plan on buying the next Bethesda game.
Yeah,
unless you know what's gonna be the one thing if they don't change their engine, I'm not buying it.
Well, they have a new Skyrim coming up. That's gonna be coming out.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be on the next
gen, right? I mean, but that's the next thing we know of them. We know that's coming from them.
If it ain't on the Unreal Engine, I ain't buying it because this one that they're using right now is dead.
It's ancient. Yeah.
That thing's dead.
Yep.